Hello and welcome to this summary of Donker Web, the introduction of the book, and by means of the introduction we're going to look at Onderwêreld. If you don't understand Onderwêreld, if you haven't read this book, don't worry, I'm going to summarize what's important in here for you now so that you can properly understand Donker Web. Okay, this is the book. Many of you would have done Onderwêreld in grade 11 as just to prepare you for what's going on in Donker Web, because if you don't know, then it gets very confusing. I tried to read Donker Web first and I had to go back to the other book because it was just too confusing. Okay, so I'm here to help you. Don't stress, this is all you need. These videos that I'm going to make for you on the book is all that you will need to know the book for the exams. You would not need anything else. I'll make the notes available as well. But just as a full disclaimer, this video is free. This introduction video, it'll be about half an hour to get the base down of understanding this one. But the other videos, there will be 3. They will not be free. Okay, it's a lot of work and this is my income, but it will still be far, far cheaper than going to a private tutor and then struggling through it and listening in class every single day. Not that you shouldn't listen, you should listen, it will help. But these videos will at the end be all that you need, plus my notes, and I will make that available at a very, very affordable price. Okay, but this video is free. Please view it on YouTube, like it on YouTube, share it on your statuses, please, so your friends can also see it. And good luck for your IB Matric 2024. It's the best year of your life, and go for it and make the best of it. Let me help you with your Afrikaans. I'll also help you with the poetry. Most of those videos are out already, and I think there's a few more new poems, but we'll get to that later in the year. Let's start. So, as an introduction, let me just get a pen. Okay, so if we look at the title, Onderwêreld. So we're looking at that book first, right? Okay, you with me? It can refer to, 3 things. Those deep tunnels that were under this school. The school was called Lawson College. Okay, there were these tunnels underneath that they used to send the grade 8s into to initiate them, and then they had to fight their way out of the tunnel. Quite interesting. The Onderwêreld can also refer to the underworld of crime, of criminals. Okay, lots of criminals in these books. Greg's dad is a criminal. Doc Pino, the principal, is a criminal. The baker is a criminal. Eckhart is sort of borderline. Okay, so they're full of criminals. Characters. Let's look at the characters. This is where we grind into the story. Bear with me. It's a lot of information and can get confusing. Okay, Greg Owen. Let's go take it step by step. He is the head boy of the school, Lawson College, rich private school in the Drakensberg, the beautiful Drakensberg. If you want to get a picture in your head, maybe something like a Michaelhouse, if you've been to Michaelhouse school, fancy private school, green lush hills, rivers, forests, mountains. Not quite Drakensberg, but close enough. Okay, or maybe Drakensberg Boys Choir School. Okay, something like that. Okay, he's your typical jock. He's your typical school hero. He's the head boy. He plays first team rugby. But we see that his dad is quite loaded. Hy sê gee geld vir die skool. Okay, he gives money, and that's why Greg, with limited talents, not the most talented guy actually, his dad kind of pays his way. That's why he plays first team rugby. That's why he's head boy. He was not the main candidate for head boy, probably not the best head boy, or he wasn't the best. The deputy head boy was actually better. Anyway, I'm just giving the bare minimum information that you need to know to understand the next. To understand Donker Web. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm leaving out, but we're going to work smart and not hard here. Otherwise, you have to read the whole book. It's going to take you ages. Okay, he had a brother, John. Okay, John was the high achiever, the uitblinker. Okay, he was also the dad's favorite, gunsteling, and he was genuinely talented. Okay, but however, there's a tragedy in this family. John committed suicide. Why? Sy pa plaas soveel druk op hom. His dad placed so much pressure on him that he cracked and he took pills and he overdosed and he died. Okay, and this kind of affects Greg quite badly, obviously. So much so that he's scared that his girlfriend Nicole, now these two have like an open sexual relationship, however, she's in Johannesburg, so bly in Johannesburg. They met up once through the year, and it's by the way that they text and that you can see these two are like quite sexually quite active. But I don't spend too much time on her because she doesn't really pop up too much in Donker Web. The character kind of dies off. Okay, in a figurative sense. Okay, Greg thinks he's bulletproof. He's confident. He's the man. He's got a bit of an image, but a bit arrogant, kind of the rich boy vibes, that sort of thing. And he learns a very important skill in Donker Web. He learns kuberkrakerij. You must learn these. All the words in bold, you must learn. Very important that you get the vocab with the content. Then you're going to pass. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. Okay. And he has his new friend, Eckhart. Good luck spelling Eckhart. I type like 4 attempts at every time I try to spell it. Eckhart's the new boy. We'll talk about him more now. And he teaches Greg how to become a kuberkraker, a hacker. And his hacker name is G-Force. They write it like that. But these two are white hat hackers. So they hack for fun, for curiosity. They don't really break the vet. They don't break the law. They're not black hat hackers. Black hat hackers would steal and so on. Okay. Then Eckhart, his friend, verdwijn, disappears, skielik, suddenly. And the school keeps quiet about it. We'll talk more about the details. And eventually, Greg, because the school's keeping quiet, Greg laat weet, he informs the media eventually. Okay. And then obviously the police come and so on. Greg Owen, with his hacking skills, okay, he unmasks, ontmasker is the word, Doc Pienaar. Okay. And Doc Pienaar is the principal of Lawson College. We'll look at him individually just now. As a criminal, the butcher. Okay, there are 3 here. There's a trio of criminals: the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. Like that rhyme. Okay, so, but in the process of unmasking these criminals, per ongeluk, unfortunately, Greg also sees that his own dad is a criminal. Okay, bear with me, you'll get it just now. He unmasks his dad as the candlestick maker. Okay, the third one, the baker, is still a mystery. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Eckhart socially manipulated, this is very important, socially manipulated Greg to take revenge against Greg's dad that was involved in the death of his own dad. Okay, did you catch that? Okay, so Eckhart was fake from the start. He manipulated Greg into training him how to hack so that he himself discovers that his dad is a criminal by mistake. Okay, we'll explain that a bit later. Because Greg's dad, he was a judge, a rechter, and he was murdered by the other two, or more directly by Doc Pienaar. Okay. Later, Eckhart reappears. Remember, he's disappeared now. he reappears in Clarence. Here he looks different, and he explains to Greg that, "Bud, I manipulated you all along. I was this new kid, came into school, I befriended you, I taught you how to hack, and I led you down this path of discovering that your own father is a criminal and that he caused my father's death." Okay, so he gives the reason. This is very, very important. The motive, die motief, die rede. Okay, wraak vir sy eie pa se dood. Revenge for his own father's death. Hy verduidelik ook, and this is quite a startling revelation. Eckhart tells Greg that the pills that John used, that his brother used to commit suicide, self-murder, was actually manufactured by this pharmaceutical company that his dad was the head of. Greg's dad was the head of. Okay, a lot of information. It will become clearer as we add Eckhart now, and we add some of the other characters. Okay, Eckhart Viljoen. Okay, wrong way. The story. So the whole book begins where, in a flashback in history, the 11-year-old Eckhart. Okay, which, by the way, is not his real name. We'll find out his real name in Donker Web. Okay, but the 11-year-old Eckhart opens the door to the study, and there he sees his dad with a 9mm pointed at his head, and like he wants to kill himself, like he wants to commit suicide. Okay, he will himself skeet. Okay, and then we don't even know that it's Eckhart at the time that it happens. Okay. Interestingly, Donker Web then starts with the same scene. Okay, and it gives a little bit of more detail, and then by then we know who it is as well. Okay. Okay, so Eckhart's story starts. He's a newcomer at the school, and he's obviously, if you come into matric, into a private school, and you're a new kid, there's a story. Nobody wants to get to know you. It's too late. Like, people couldn't be bothered about the new kid now. Immediately he's the outsider. But Eckhart is there for a very specific reason, remember. He's there with a mission. He's there to socially manipulate Greg and to befriend him. Okay, so it's a very sinister reason. He's new in grade 12. Okay, some of the things he does to manipulate Greg, and this is all part of his plan. He's planting a seed in Greg's head. He's basically brainwashing him. Tactics that narcissists would use on other people. Okay, toxic people manipulating other people. Eckhart is this. Okay, but Greg loves this guy. Thinks it's like his best mate ever. Okay, they really click from the start. Things that he does: he goes to jog every morning alone, which is weird. He has a book on depression in his room. Okay, now you will remember that Greg's brother John committed suicide, and he was depressed because of the pressure that his father puts on him. Okay, so that kind of reminded Greg a lot of his brother. And Eckhart's whole mission, I think, was for Eckhart to fill the space that John left in Greg's life. Okay, so they become close as brothers. All right, so he could basically just mess with his head. He also had a false photo, which we don't know at the time, of his parents and his brother in his room at home. It's fake. Okay. Then he disappears early on in chapter 3. The book goes one chapter in the present, one chapter flashback, one chapter in the present, and then eventually the two timelines meet up. Okay, but when he disappears, it's early on in the book already. Okay, which is quite cool. He leaves when he disappears. He doesn't disappear. He goes intentionally. He leaves his laptop and his cell phone in his room so that it doesn't look suspicious like he packed up his stuff and he left. He left everything there. Okay, so it looks like a legit disappearance. Obviously, this guy is so brainwashed. He's like wondering, has he committed suicide? Because he's associating Eckhart heavily with his own brother, John. Okay, we've seen this already. When he was 11, he arrived on the scene where his dad wanted to commit suicide. And now his dad is in fact dead. Okay, arranged to be killed by Dokpinar and Greg's dad. Okay, so now he wants revenge. Very important. Okay, so in the story, he becomes immediately, with his mission, he becomes Greg's mentor, he becomes his friend, and he leads him into this world of hacking. He's got a very specific plan. Hy herinner Greg aan sy oorlede broer John. He reminds him of his brother John. Okay. His hacker name, Kieberkraker naam, is Echo. Okay. Now when he disappears, everything in the room is the same except one thing. And Greg notices this. That family photo, die Viljoen gesinsfoto, is replaced with a photo of a white hat. Okay. And on the white hat, obviously, Greg was like, this is a message, somehow. And there was a web address. That was the address, Echo's Underwêreld.co.za. Eventually, Greg cracks the password. It takes him to another website where he finds a whole lot of hacking tools that Eckhart left for him. Okay, now Greg plays with these tools. He finds out by hacking into Dokpinar, the principal of the school, hacking into the principal's computer, that he is also the head of a big pharmaceutical company wat die virus vervaardig. Okay, so there's a big company that made a virus. Okay, we'll talk more about the virus now and what the whole criminal activity with the virus was. Now Eckhart follows everything that Greg does on his computer because Eckhart installed a keylogger on the computer of Eckhart, and he could follow him. He's like, I can see how you're hacking, where you're hacking in. Well done. You're kind of following the breadcrumbs that I left for you towards discovering, firstly, that Dokpinar is this big criminal, and then a few breadcrumbs later, he sees, oh gosh, my own dad is involved. Okay. So here's an important point. Hy manipuleer dus Greg om sy eie pa en Dokpinar te ontmasker, to unmask them as criminals with his new skills as a hacker, and he got those skills from Eckhart. Okay, and that was the plan all along. Okay, he wanted to inflict quite a bit of pain on Greg for him to by himself discover that his dad is a fraud, that his dad is a criminal. Just a small detail, Eckhart got into the school by breaking into the school records, made himself a report card, I think, from previous schools, and it was all fake. Okay, but he had everyone fooled. Dokpinar, okay, we've spoken about him a little bit. All these characters are very linked. Dokpinar is die skoolhoof van Lawson College, but clearly also a businessman. He's got many businesses, including Plus Ultra Med. Very important. You must know this. This is important for later on, for Donker Web. Very important. Okay. And it's Plus Ultra Med that now they make this virus, or they're going to distribute the cure of the virus so that they can make money. Okay, we'll talk about that more now. when Eckhart disappears, Dokpinar's not super worried. He tries to cover up the disappearance of Eckhart, and eventually the whole media knows about it because Greg let them know. Okay, he is the butcher of Project Nursery Rhyme. You must remember this. Okay, so that's very, very important. So Project Nursery Rhyme was the whole plan to make a virus, then make the cure, then sell it, then become rich. But obviously people are going to die. This is highly, highly unethical and illegal and just evil. Okay, and he's the one that he made Eckhart's dad disappear. The judge. He let him get murdered. There's lots more details coming out about this in Donker Web. Okay, so he's the head of the pharmaceutical company, Class Ultramed. Hy word arresteer. He gets arrested because Greg uncovered him, the school principal, and handed it over to the police. And because of this role in Project Nursery Rhyme, the whole Project Nursery Rhyme gets uncovered, and Dokpinar and Greg's dad goes to jail. Greg se pa, a hard man, plaas te veel druk. He places way too much pressure on John that leads to his suicide, and he's the head of Turret Media. Okay, he is very important in this whole Project Nursery Rhyme. Learn this, please. Die bose plan. This is the evil plan. Ontwikkel 'n voëlgriepvirus. Okay, so the baker, so there's the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. Okay, Dokpinar is the butcher because he did the killing part. Okay, the candlestick maker, he makes things happen. In other words, he spreads awareness of the virus, and then he'll also spread awareness of the vaccine. Okay, the enstof, and then they'll earn big money. Okay, he's the candlestick maker. Okay, sy rol was om die media bewus te maak van die virus sodat dit mense dit moet vrees. Vrees is fear. Sorry, I didn't put that in. His role was to make aware, maak bewus. Okay, that's Greg's dad. Okay, he's now a criminal. He's been uncovered by his son. Die baker, this is the third guy. He's the guy who made the virus. Somebody with a knowledge of virology, is that a word? With chemistry background probably. We don't know who this guy is. The whole of this book, Donker Web, is about the baker. Okay, and uncovering his identity. And Greg hunting this guy down. Okay, I'm going to say too much ahead of time. Okay, but that's the whole Donker Web is about, finding the third criminal. They've got Greg's dad, candlestick maker. They've got Dokpinar, the butcher. The third person in Project Nursery Rhyme, the baker. They want him. He's the really, really bad guy. Okay. Then there's Eckhart's dad. Now, Eckhart's dad is dead. Okay, soon after terrible incident where Eckhart discovered his dad wanting to commit suicide. 6 months after that, he gets killed very quickly in, well, not in the book, but early on in the book it gets explained. So Eckhart's dad's not a character, he's dead. But we only learn something about him later. Now, he was the judge. So he was also part of Project Nursery Rhyme. But early on, because he's a judge, he probably had pangs of conscience and wanted to withdraw himself out of it. He was probably there to make sure that on the legal side of things, this criminal activity can take place in the safest possible way. Okay, but anyway, he wanted to kop uittrek, change his mind. He wanted out, and the other three got nervous and they murdered him. Okay, 6 months after he wanted to shoot himself, these people pitched up at his house, Doc Binar and other people, and they murdered him. Okay, that's early in the book, so I can give that away now. Blanc, not massive character in Onderwêreld, but then he becomes a big character in Donker Web. Okay, he's Mark Gibson is his real name. His name is Blanc because he's really skinny, Blanc. He's an intelligent guy, smart, smokes weed, he's like zoned out and super chilled most of the time, doesn't stress too much about anything. He plays lock, okay. Your typical sort of, I don't want to say typical, not everyone smokes weed, but feels like it nowadays. He is a good friend to Greg, really good friend in Donker Web. Okay, one of the friends that after all that Greg went through, because Greg never finished grade 12, after all that he went through, Blanc was still his good mate. So he's quite an important character and sticks to him. There are many other characters, okay, not as many as there are in Onderwêreld. As in Donker Web, I mean, sorry. Onderwêreld, the first book's got lots, okay. This is the essential stuff that you need to know. I don't think you need to know any more about Onderwêreld than this video and these notes can show you. That is then the end of Onderwêreld, and if you look at the start of Donker Web, again, we start with this 11-year-old Eckhart, and now they reveal his name. Zander, that's his real name. Eckhart was obviously fake. His whole life at the school was fake. And again, he finds his dad where he wants to consider suicide. And then they, on the same page, they jump to like 6 months later, that passes, and then there's that incident where he gets murdered by, or this guy's pitch up at his house and he gets murdered. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Please share this video. This video is free, and good luck with the year. I'm going to do my best to help you get through Donker Web and to understand it and to just not stress about Afrikaans. That's not what you want to do. Please share this link on your statuses. Help me out, please, and then I'll do the other videos as well. I'll upload them soon, and there'll be a cost involved, but it won't be anything excessive, I promise. And then all the best for the 2024, and please look after yourselves and try your best in matric. Work hard. Chat soon. Thank you so much.